Who were the Rephaim giants of old? The Nephilim connection. And of course, we know that they were referred to as people of greater than average height. In the Hebrew Bible, as well as the non-Jewish ancient texts from the region, the Northwest Semitic term Rephait or Rephaim, the plural word in Hebrew, refers to the people of greater than average height and stature as dictated in Hebrew scripture of Genesis 14:5, Deuteronomy 2, or the departed spirits of the afterlife. And Sheol was written in the following scripture: Isaiah 26, Psalm 88, Proverbs 9, as well as Isaiah 14. Now Sheol was a place of darkness to which all the dead go, both the righteous and unrighteous, regardless of the moral choices made in life. And under some circumstances, they are thought to be able to be contacted by the living, such as the witch of Endor. We know that she was a woman who, according to the Hebrew Bible, was consulted by King Saul to summon the spirit of prophet Samuel in order to receive advice against the battle he wanted to go against the Philippines. So that's where these souls were. Now, etymology. There are two main groups of etymological hypotheses explaining the origins of Rephaim. The first group proposes that it's a native Hebrew language term, derived either from the root or conveying the meaning as in of the souls, and these souls living in the afterlife Sheol, for which they're waiting for the final judgment of Elohim, God. And the second root meaning being weak, powerless, as in the souls within Sheol are weak in the sense that they hold no physical power in the living world and their status is wiped. All things of the living that gives the living power is thus moot in the land of the dead and Sheol, and its inhabitants are thus again powerless and weak, having to be submissive to Elohim, God. And the second group of etymological hypotheses treat the word Rephaim as a loan word. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. They treat the word Rephaim as a loan word. From the Semitic language, and among the proposals is the Akkadian prince, a prince that is explanatory and enjoys limited popularity. And the hypothesis derived from Hebrew Rephaim, which denotes semi-deified deceased ancestors who are mentioned in sources such as the Rephaim text. And despite the clash between these hypotheses, and although the modern translations clearly distinguish between Rephaites or Rephaim in the book of Genesis and book of Deuteronomy, the Rephaim as the inhabitants of the underworld, as stated in the book of Isaiah. The use of Rephaim in the Hebrew Bible suggests that behind the biblical narrative were the legends and some ancient indigenous peoples who inhabited the valley of the land of Canaan, which was subject to the gradual Hebrew conquest. And they were huge. The Canaanite people, the Rephites or the Rephaim, can describe an ancient race of giants and in Iron Age Israel, Bronze Age Israel, and other places where the individuals were thought to have lived. And according to Genesis 14:5, and what does it say there? It says, a year after King Chedorlaomer and his allies attacked and defeated the Rephites and the Emites. Okay, so they were obviously defeated. And King Chedorlaomer and his allies attacked and defeated the Rephites. The Rephites, the Rephaim that is, also mentioned in Genesis 15, Deuteronomy, book of Joshua, book of Samuel, book of Chronicles. In the biblical narrative, the Israelites were instructed to exterminate the inhabitants of the promised land, quote-unquote Canaan, which included various named people including some unusually large, tall, huge individuals. Several passages of the book of Joshua and Deuteronomy suggest that King Og of Bashan, the king of Bashan, was one of the last survivors of these Rephaim giants, and that his bed was 9 cubits long. An ordinary cubit is the length of an arm's forearm, and according to the American Standard Bible, it was about a cubit is 18 inches, so that makes the bed over 13 feet. Even longer if the cubit was based on a giant's forearm. The area of Moab before the time of Moses was also considered the land of Rephaim, according to Deuteronomy, and noting that the Ammonites called the Rephaims Zamzumin, and the Moabites referred to them as the Emim. And long dead ancestors. Rephaim have also been considered as residents of the netherworld, Sheol in the Hebrew Bible. In more recent scholarship, possible examples of this usage appear to be as shades or spirits or the dead in various translations of the Bible, and possibly where Rephaim may be read as dead ancestors or weakeners, or as opposed to doctors. The Hebrew root means heal, and thus the masculine plural normalization form of this root may indicate that these deceased ancestors could be invoked for ritual purposes that would benefit the living. Now, various ancient Northwest Semitic texts also replete with reference to terms evidently cognate with Rephaim as the dead kings. Lewis in 1989 says they undertake the detailed study of several enigmatic funerary ritual texts from ancient coastal city of Ugarit, and he concludes that the Ugaritic funerary text provides important evidence for understanding the cult of the dead, wherein beings called Rephaim, the long dead, and Malakuma, recently dead kings, were invoked in a funeral liturgy presented with foods and drinks, offerings as to provide blessings for the reign of the current king. The many references to Rephaim in the Hebrew Bible context involves Sheol, and dead spirits strongly suggest that many ancient Israelites imagined the spirits of the dead as playing an active and important role in securing blessings, healings, and or other benefits in the lives of the living. In 2021, a new theory regarding the identity of Rephaim was published by J. Yogov, which suggests that the Rephaim were systematically eradicated from biblical text as an agenda to eliminate their memory, according to monotheistic belief systems in biblical times. The link between Titan and poltergeist may very well be adduced from the verb stem rapha, which means to sink or relax. The Titans, as we know, in Greek mythology, they were before the gods of Mount Olympus. The Greek mythology Titans were the pre-Olympian gods. According to the theogony of Hesiod, they were the 12 children of the primordial parent Uranus, which is the sky, and Gaia, the earth, with 6 male Titans, Oceanus, Coes, Croesus, Hyperion, Iapetus, and Cronus, and 6 females. And poltergeist. Poltergeist is a type of a ghost or a spirit that is responsible for physical disturbances such as loud noises, objects being moved around and destroyed. Most claim about or fictional description of poltergeist show them as capable of pinching, biting, hitting, etc. And we know that we find them also in haunted houses. So I read this for you from Rephaim from Wikipedia, just as a reference for us as to who they were. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.